Hello everyone, I am Jonathan, also known as the Medieval Genie, and today we're going to be doing something a bit different today. We're going to be doing some commentating on Sparring. So I've got a recording here, so just to begin, we've got this guy on the right who is myself, obviously identifiable by the male collar and the general padding. On the left, you will see in a minute, is Joe. Now between us, I have quite a bit of rigidity and sort of stick to British Military Sabre quite a bit, so you're going to see heavy usage of that sort of style. Joe has, of course, his own style, but it's less like any of the sort of, Polish or British particular treatises because he hasn't studied them as much yet. He is quite fast, whereas I'm way too static, and he is left-handed, whereas I'm right-handed. So, you'll see, of course, that in action. So here we'll go. Now, here you see quite a classic sort of thing that I do. This really plays to my strengths as a counter-fencer. So we are back here. You'll notice as he's on the approach, I noticed that he's been feinting his dominant side and then attacking the other side a bit. So I tried experimenting with the inside guard here with the quillons turned inwards, point towards his face, so I don't have to do anything if he attacks me from his right, my left, because it'll just automatically parry it. Additionally, if for whatever reason he should run at me, you'll notice he'll stab himself in the face. Wonderful. So he actually feinted there, did a little tap. Now he's going to go around, attack me from his left, my right. I will then parry and counter riposte. Here I've caught it on the forte, which is this part, close to the hilt. So you'll notice, despite his force, he barely moved me at all. That's because of the leverage. He is here on his foible, the weak. Good for hitting, not so good for pushing. Caught me on the forte. So then all I do for the riposte is I've got the sword turned basically up towards this direction. I'll turn it inwards and cut in towards him. No sort of pulling back, no flailing, no turning around with the wrist, nothing too much, just a minimalistic point the blade at him, slice, watch. Boom. So we'll show that again. Here's the exchange. Boom. Caught him around the hips, I reckon, or the upper leg. Same thing again. And also I parried on the forte. Didn't move me. That time I raised my hand too high. So he actually caught me on my forearm, which was bent at the time. If I'd lowered the hilt, I would have actually parried again. But there we are. You have a double. You can see all the more that he is quite mobile, whereas I am not nearly as much as I should be. This serves to his advantage later on when he adapts. Also, I'm quite tired because this is my third fight of that night? Fourth? I don't know. Same parry riposte. Yeah, it was just something I mentioned. In his particular way, while he's being mobile, he does sort of widen his stance a bit, which means that normally, if you want to cut someone's legs, you have to bend your torso. Instead of being upright, you're kind of leaning forwards and extending your legs and basically making yourself exposed. But because he was extending his leg out so far, I could just cut downwards without too much overextension and hit him. You'll notice my legs will stay much more tighter together, except when I'm on the lunge, whereas he widens his stance a lot. Here it is. Same thing, except that time I hit him more on the body, so Stance wouldn't have really mattered. That time he dodged, closed his legs together. Dodged and caught me on my shoulder, I think, or the collar. That time what I felt was the tip had touched his chest, but, you know, it wasn't anything. If it was a real sword, it would not have made a noticeable wound. So I said not to count it. You'll notice with my defensive style and his offensive style, I tend to stay in actual guards, whereas he at the moment tends to just sort of change positions to determine new areas of attack. I was just mentioning hand carve, it's basically just striking the hand or the wrist, like he did there actually. Something I do a lot, because as you'll notice, normally the forwardmost part of the body, the easiest target to catch, is around your hands and forearms. Which is why I target it a lot. It means I can be at the very extension of my range and keep a fairly safe attack, whereas, as you'll see, hitting the legs I'd have to bend down, hitting somewhere like the head or torso I have to close in more. I'll just show that again. Could have done a more powerful hit there, but I was improvising a bit. Here I'm trying to psych myself up to move more, noticing how static I am compared to him. But I tire myself out because I'm unfit and fat. But there we are. That's me. Here we are, trying to move more again. Also trying to be a bit more aggressive, help control the fight. Otherwise I'm reacting to him, rather than him reacting to me. The best things you can do to an opponent is control them. Whether you make them attack you, or you attack them, whatever it is, you want them to do something predictable, and then really basic, simple techniques will just counter them. Anything you've learnt to work against the basic thing they're going to do at you. Don't know if that caught me much, but definitely a cut on the wrist. You notice he feints a lot. He'll even attack the sword. He knows not to just attack the sword, but he does it to try and goad me into doing some sort of parry riposte, and that's when I'm open. Usually my plans fall apart after the first couple of actions. He's trying to get that out of me. Whereas there, you'll notice he did more of an intended attack. First intention. Wait for it. Attack. Parry. There, I caught him. I know it's this bit here. Notice with his left hand he does an intended attack straight forwards, trying to launch a surprise, which is good of him, towards my head. I parry with, looks like a Guard of St. George, which is sword horizontal above the head, which I've just raised into to complete it. And then I'm going to deliver a cut one, which is a diagonal blow. Cut his head off. Bang. Looks like he's drawn up at the wrist. Don't know if that would have caused any serious wound or not. But he has got the blade contact. See how I felt that? Might have been a draw cut little slice. At this point I'm tiring from my attempts at moving more. He's noticing that, so notice he's using a lot more distance. He's going to play with me with that, so that he can hit me when he wants to, and when I want to hit him, he's suddenly out of there. See, I riposted. I'm just swinging at the air every time, because he's used to my parry riposte style now. So I've still got my tight parries, and the ripostes, but as you can see, it's much weaker on the attack. Whereas he's got the advantage in that. See. Out of distance. Caught him, but an emergency parry. And I've tired myself out by closing distance. He's getting a bit worn out, but not nearly as much. Parry riposte. Might have caught me at the tip of the sword, I guess. I didn't see it there, but... So yes, that was that. Tell me what you think in the comments, and if you do want to see more of this. And that's that for today. Oh, and tell you what, how about a competition? I want you lot to try and guess. This is something called the Oakshot typology, and you won't win anything, but try guessing in the comments which of these is my favourite. I don't know if I've told anybody before, or at least on the internet, but here are the swords from type 10 up to type 22, and one of these is my favourite. Which one do you think it is? And which is your favourite? So that's just a little side thing. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Goodbye.